Are you serious about planning a successful business exit? From Angel to Exit is your go-to resource. Subscribe to our newsletter at eckfeldt.com/podcast for even more valuable insights. And to get personalized guidance, take our free exit readiness assessment. It's just 24 questions, and it will give you a clear picture of your exit readiness. Find the assessment at eckfeldt.com/exit. Submit your results, and we'll schedule a free follow-up call to discuss your specific situation and the best way to maximize your valuation and ensure a successful transaction. Now, back to the episode. Welcome, everyone, to From Angel to Exit. I'm Bruce Eckfeldt. I'm your host. Our guest today is Christine McDannell. I'm excited for this. Christine has had several businesses, has involved in several kind of projects over the years, has a lot of experience in this area. I'm sure has a lot of good stories, is working a lot with founders, with entrepreneurs in the process as well. So she's a lot of insights into the market, what some of the challenges are, some of the things that founders run into. So I'm excited to hear her stories, excited to hear her advice on things. With all that, Christine, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Bruce. Super excited. I haven't been on a podcast in a bit, so this will be fun.
Oh, good. Well, good to get you back in. So why don't we, before we kind of dig in all the kind of business stuff, and I'd love to just kind of hear some personal background. Like, what was your personal background? How did you get into business? Like, tell me the backstory here.
Yeah, girl with the lemonade stand for sure. Girl selling the candy bars out of the backpack, getting in trouble. So it's just, I was born to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. And so, I started my first company at age 23. And that was a house cleaning company, $300 because I had a bunch of debt, and like I bartended at night and cleaned for a year and a half every single day at the high rises in downtown San Diego. Okay. And that was my start. I got my real estate license like right out of high school. So I skipped the college thing and saved my dad a lot of money. He was a blue collar worker. He had an HVAC company of his own, and he would have gone into a lot of debt. So I'm like, Dad, save your, I was 16 and junior in high school, and just said, Dad, save your money. I'm going to be successful without going to college. So luckily it worked out.
I love it. Now, did you have any kind of role models or like early influence on entrepreneurs and being a business owner?
For sure, my father, in the sense of how hard of a worker he was, like how disciplined, out the door at 7 a.m. every single day, fixing air conditioners in 100-degree weather where I grew up. Yeah. And so for sure, like I modeled, he didn't teach it. It was funny. It just, from him, like modeling it, I guess, it's huge. So that's my work ethic came from there. He was self-employed. So even as a kid, I'm like, Dad, hire employees. Dad, get a big billboard. Like he never wanted to go big ever. So he was just kind of self-employed. He ended up having a few employees towards the end, but he just, I wouldn't say he was an entrepreneur, to be honest. I'd say he was like self-employed.
Yeah, no, there's a big difference. So I guess tell me a little bit about the first business, like why cleaning, like did you see an opportunity? Was there something that was presented to you? Why get into that business?
Yeah, so I was property management. I was still in high school doing property management. And then right when I turned 18, got my real estate license. So I was in real estate and property management until I was 23. And I could not work further. I could not work at corporate. I could not. And I haven't since. I could just everything was so inefficient. And I'm always looking for efficiencies, right? And I'm trying to fix systems. And you can't. It's just like, nope, corporate says we have to do it this way. Yeah. Corporate says, I'm like, I can't deal. So I had no money. So it's like, what kind of company do you start? With no money. The cleaning, sitting downtown. I still remember I was in the car and I looked around these huge high rises being built in 2003. And I was just like, who's going to clean all these? So I hired 2 women that only spoke Spanish and I only spoke English. And that was fun. So of course I had to learn Spanish very quickly. And the 3 of us just went and cleaned every day. And then I grew it to the largest privately owned cleaning company in San Diego after 5 years, and then exited it and started the next company.
Yeah. So, and I guess when you started the company, was the ambition, the goal to exit? And do you have time frames, dollar amounts? Like, I'm kind of curious about that vision you had.
Great question. So I'm so lucky that I naturally have this sense of just this big imagination and big, it's insane. So when I'm cleaning these toilets, I'm not thinking, oh, this sucks cleaning a toilet. I'm thinking I'm going to build the largest cleaning company. I'm going to have a team. I'm not going to have to clean. I'm not going to have to work, and at the end, that was the case. I had a manager in place. I just did the marketing because that's my favorite hat. I barely worked any hours towards the end. So there's never a timeline for any exit I've had of my own. And there's never a dollar amount. It's when I'm over it, like when I'm ready for the next company. And I usually I dovetail it. So I'll start it before I even exit. So that's my excitement.
I love it. I envision the spreadsheet you have of dollar per toilet and toilet per month, right? Like how you're growing the business.
Yeah, and it was like 36 employees at the end of the day when I
Yeah.
exited. It was exact. Actually, I wanted 60. That's what was funny. I had the number 60 employees in my head for some reason, but 37 was plenty.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how the metrics people use for kind of business growth or business objectives or, milestones and stuff. And I find every business has a different unit that they use to kind of scale the business or talk about where the business is in terms of size. So tell us about that exit. I mean, was that an easy process? Was that hard? Did you have to kind of find a buyer? Did the buyer come to you? What was that first experience like?
Oh, great question. So I did have a broker on that deal because I genuinely thought you had to have one to sell a company. And I was in my 20s and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. He was decent. There's a couple things I definitely would have done differently. They're always trying to pressure you to lower the price. I said no. I got a lowball offer. He said, I'm going to fax it. He told me on the phone, he's like, well, I'm going to fax it over. I'm like, don't waste fax back then. Like, don't waste your time. I'm not taking it. Yeah. And so it needs to be full price. And so, and then the biggest mistake, we put 90-day training in there. He's like, oh, Christine, they're never going to take it. You'll be out the door in 2 weeks. Like you have a manager, you're never there. Like you don't need, manager's going to stay. And I'd already started the next company. And what do you know? That buyer, first time buyer, came out of mortgage industry and he's wanted all 90 days full time. So we had to renegotiate that. And I'm just like, oh, why was that? Like for my clients, I never put that in. I don't. It's like 2 months max. And it's a block of hours that the person can use whenever they want.
Yeah. So what were your learnings from that first business that you kind of applied to the second business? Any big, I'm not doing this again, or I got to make sure I do this again. Like what were the takeaways from that experience?
I've been really lucky and I've read so many books, studied so many customer service, all sorts of things. Pour Your Heart Into It is probably my favorite book. And that's Howard Schultz and that's Starbucks. And I met him in person. I was starstruck a little bit when I met him in person 5 years ago. And I ran up and I told him how that book changed every company I had, especially my first, because customer service is huge. Like I got to get 5 stars on Yelp and Google for every single company I've owned. And they're mostly service business, B2C. Yep. So that was big. Customer service, your team, your culture. And that's before the trend of like culture is important. Yeah. Like it wasn't back then, but that was important to me. Yeah. So that was just treating your customers are not always right. You got to have your employees back. They're right. Yeah. And I have crazy stories of stuff where I was just like, that's not cool. I'm going to call the client. And the girls were like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like, it's not okay. I'm calling. I'm firing them.
Yeah. And so tell us about the business after that. You said you dovetailed it. You were kind of starting it. How did that play out?
Yeah, I did a social media firm right after, and that was 2010 when Facebook was a fad. Oh, yeah. We were selling to business owners, and B2B is very difficult for me. I'm usually not a fan. And then I started with a boyfriend at the time. He had a horrible job, and I'm like, you got to quit your boss. I could hear his boss screaming at him on the phone. Yeah. So I'm like, you got to get out of here. I could just whip up a new company. Let's do tech. Let's do social media. It was very hard back then. It's very hard to do with the boy. I've had a couple of businesses with. Oh, yeah. So the joke is like, oh, if you date Christine, at least you end up with a business after.
You put that on your profile.
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it. I should maybe. Yeah, I think it's been 3 times total. So those businesses never worked out. So I've had 10 startups total. Yeah. Any partnerships are very difficult. So I gave it to him. I just said, give me 10 grand. I can live on that for a couple months, which was not fun in San Diego because I was not living on that before. I had a lot more. And so he to this day still has the business. So after 2 years, really? Yeah, he does. He's so grateful. He spoke about it on podcasts I've heard. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. He just gives me some credit and he shouldn't, but he has it. So, and then this was right after that. I was like, give me 10 grand, I'll live on it, and I'll start a business from scratch. And I actually sold $15,000 worth of spa memberships before signing the lease to the building.
Oh, interesting. So tell me about that. Was that a strategy? Was that just kind of necessity in the situation?
An amazing business mentor, Henry Evans, that's been my mentor forever since 2010. He gave me the idea. And that's, again, before memberships, before the massage envies of the world. There was no such thing as a wellness spa doing a monthly membership and an annual membership.
Yeah. Interesting. And what's the through line to some of these businesses? I mean, you said a lot of them are service-based. I mean, is that just because you're focused on customer service, or is that like what has been your kind of guiding principle as you've looked at these businesses?
I love customer service. Again, I know not many people do. I love sales and customer service and marketing. Those are my hats. I think of business, like every single business was a need in the marketplace that I saw that wasn't there. Every single one. The wellness spa, again, this is before the trend of wellness, was colon hydrotherapy was the main like what we built the spa around. We did infrared. Then there wasn't any like spa based. It was a very clinical setting for that treatment. It wasn't spa based. And then we did the infrared saunas. Nobody knew what that was. So it was a lot of education in 2012. And so we did organic skincare. We did massage. So yeah, it was just, there was nothing. We did a French themed spa. A lot of the spas back then were Asian themed, especially San Diego. So yeah, it's just every company, every single one. I'm like, why isn't there a business? Why isn't there a cleaning company that's pet friendly? So we'd bring little doggy treats. We'd let the people leave their pets at home that use green cleaning, it was called Cleanology. It was just each one's been so fun.
Yeah, yeah. And, as you've started these businesses, how has your approach been in terms of how you've set them up or how you've run them relative to the exit? Has there been any learnings or anything that you've kind of, habits that you've built or strategies you've used to kind of start the businesses in a way that are going to make them easier or better, to be able to exit from eventually?
Great question. And it's funny, each one seemed to be about a 5-year trend of like and I know why. At that point, you've got team, you've got at this by 3 managers. Like it would take about 5 years for me anyways, because I'd bootstrap to get it so dialed that they didn't need me anymore. I remember I went to Europe for a month. And that's when I came back and listed Eco Chateau for sale because I'm like, they had their biggest sales month, which I was bummed. I'm such a salesperson. Like, well, really?
This is the cutting edge of this thing. It's like, I want them to be independent, but I hate it when they do well without me.
Right. And they broke the $100,000 mark for that month, which again was a big deal. And I was in Europe for the month and my friend, he's just like, this is the part every business owner wants. And you're like sad about it. And I came back and listed. And so the thing I've carried that I want the audience to hear is I was really good about never thinking about, I want to exit for this dollar amount. I mean, of course you build a company with systems in place where you can exit, right? It was Christine's cleaning service in the beginning. Nobody's going to buy that. So we rebranded.
Well, except another Christine.
Yeah, exactly. Great point. So we rebranded. So I always was like, okay, I can't wrap the business around my face. Like even Magnolia Firm, right? If you go, it says I'm the owner, but it's not wrapped around me personally. So that's huge. But the problem, it was really great. This is everybody, this way you concentrate. Building an amazing company with an amazing reputation, systems, team, culture. Please just do that. Because I'm seeing too many founders focusing on the exit. And that's just not going to get you through every single day. And then when I had my tech company 2018, unfortunately, I'm dealing with investors. So it's all you're doing, when you're raising capital is you have to have that exit in mind because they care about that. So I did get distracted with that, which was unfortunate because I knew better. But everybody in the tech world, that's all they talk about is their exit.
Well, so a couple of things in there that I wanted to dig on. One is the whole systems and processes. I mean, well, I guess what has been your strategy in terms of developing those? And I always find that there's a little bit of a balance, right? Like you don't want to overburden the company with processes and bureaucracies and, everything has to be a checklist and you can't do anything without going to the document. But on the flip side, like you need some standards, you need repeatability, you need to kind of have a process that you can improve upon. How have you found a balance, or is there any techniques that you've had that kind of tell you where you are on that scale and keep you centered on that?
I know. Now I'm jealous that I had all those years where it was such a hard process to create these SOPs, standard operating procedures, and these playbooks. So, but manually, we were really good, and we still are. Like, one of my team members is working for my friend's brokerage simultaneously. We're really good friends. And so, he's just like, he doesn't have a playbook. He doesn't have, he's like, we have a lot of systems in place. So my playbooks are written. This was always my rule of thumb, always. You need to write this playbook as if a 10-year-old would follow it. And genuinely. So it was just these huge binders back in the day of like, I gave that to the new owner and that was a game changer that I had that. I'm jealous now because of Claude. Claude makes it so easy. Record with Granola, put all our steps recorded, put it in Claude. It's like a piece of cake now.
Yeah. There's no excuse.
None, zero. And again, anybody
as much as I hear them.
If anybody listening, I can give you like how you would do it. I could show it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a key one. I want to go back to another one you mentioned too, which is a little more subtle. This idea of you were in Europe, you had your best month ever, but there was some discomfort with that and kind of this, I think this connection, this identity kind of connection and fusion with the business. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this is that they want to, they do want this independence. They don't want their company to need them, but they also want their company to need them. And how have you navigated this, or when has this come up for you, and how have you kind of navigated sort of this attachment, this personal attachment to the business, either during the growth process or during a sale? Like, how has this come up for you?
Yes, and I know we're doing a LinkedIn Live soon with Nancy, who's an amazing, therapist, PhD. She's incredible. Who comes on? So she coaches my clients because my clients get very depressed. And it never hits them until a month later. It's so they swear it's not going to happen. No more employees, no more stress, a bunch of money. I'm going to be retired. A month later, they get super depressed because they lost their purpose, and their business was extremely tied to their identity.
100%.
Some of these 10 years, 20 years, it was there. You had all these people coming to you for answers, and they looked up to you. And so for me, I'm lucky enough to where I'm dovetailed into the next venture. There's not time, I have my next purpose on. I've never gotten depressed on any of the businesses I've exited. But you're right, there was a little bit of, I was needed, and then I wasn't needed. So then, no, and it was weird. It was like, this is great. This is amazing. But I was sad for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I think we are purpose-driven creatures, right? Like, we want to have things to do. We want to have impact on the world. And, businesses become a huge, tool for that. And when we, either are getting ourselves out of the business from a day-to-day point of view or actually selling the business. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty common story for entrepreneurs. And honestly, it doesn't matter how much the money is, right? Like, I've talked to people that have had, hundreds of millions of dollars in exits and still end up facing that same thing. So it's not like, well, enough money will solve that. In fact, probably enough money means you're so committed to the business that it's even more of a transition for folks around that.
Exactly. And what I'm sad about the most still, it's been over a year now, is that the husband and wife that bought the business, the Eco Chateau in 2017, they closed it last year. And they fired everybody, and they didn't call me because I so easily could have either rescued it myself, or I could have found someone to take it over. And he just had too much pride, is what I hear, to call me, to tell me, and they completely shut it down. And that was last May, and it's it's still upsetting me. I have dreams about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the attachment continues. What was it? Just business performance, or what? Do you know what the?
Again, I get the scoop because I'm still friends with the girls and I'm friends with the manager. So I guess overspent vacations, overspending, new cars, etc. He opened 2 locations. He opened a third, and he walked me through it. He showed it to me, and I was just like, the rent. It was in a retail center. The rent was probably astronomical. I would never do that. So it was a bummer.
Well, I hate to say it. I mean, I use this phrase of, when someone buys your business, they buy the right to run it into the ground if they want, right? So you do have to kind of let go of it. And, unfortunately, that's not an uncommon story. Post-sale, businesses do not survive sometimes.
9 years, though, gosh.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it. Give us some of the other examples of the businesses that you've done and some of the stories.
Yeah, luxury car rental business, but that was my hobby business. I call it a hobby business when they break even. Okay, that's a hobby. I love cars, and so I bought a few amazing cars, especially when I exit. And then we got a bunch more, and we started renting them out in San Diego. And then it's great networking too, especially exotic cars. So that was a fun business. That was right after. That was during this, but dovetailed out of the spa because again, I wasn't working much and I had money, and I'm like, let's do something else. And then I went into tech, and that was the hardest 3 years of my life. We got into Techstars Amsterdam, which is amazing, 4 months in. And so I got to live in Europe. That was amazing. But it's just 90-hour weeks. It was crazy. It was a real estate SaaS platform for the co-living industry. So, and then I published the first book in the space, and I was speaking and became and I did not want to be an influencer. I prefer to be behind the scenes. Yeah. So that was Kindred. And then, that buyer didn't do anything with it. So I got it acquired in 2021, company out of LA, and then they sat on it. And then now the website went to the domain and it's got gone. So I'm like, I hate when that happens.
Again, it's like you sell it. They do whatever they want with it at that point. They own it. You mentioned there was a little bit in the story there about like selling the business and having the cars and flipping, into the exotic car rental. Do you find that I sometimes find entrepreneurs, it's very different when they start their first company and it's very scrappy and they're, often doing it with not much money, or they're, really having to kind of take some risk and do it. The second time, now a lot of times they have got some cash, and that is a very different situation for them to start companies in. Have you noticed a difference in terms of how you approach it, or the different kind of challenges when you've had some success and potentially have some capital that you can use to start the next company? Is that changed what you've started, how you started it, versus kind of the scrappy, I've got $300 and need to figure out how to make a company around it?
Amazing question. So I love bootstrapping, and I've learned it the hard way when I didn't do it once. I just love it. And I purposely will do this weird thing where I'll have a bunch of money and then I just load it into the company. I have $0, a bunch. I love the climb. So if I'm at the top of the hill, I'll purposely just like wipe out and just put the money in the business or start a new business and put it all in there. So I've done that both, like the cleaning company I sold for 6 figures and then dumped a bunch in a social media company. Okay, all I needed was a laptop. Why did I spend all that money? I just blew so much money. I made so many bad mistakes, wasting money. So I prefer to bootstrap, to be honest. The tech company, but I sold the spa and then I dumped all the money into the tech company and then raised capital from others. Made it easier to raise capital because I had such a big chunk in. But again, probably spent it not as well as I would have if I bootstrapped. So that's each time I bootstrap. And then starting a brokerage firm, because now we're leading tech company and then to the brokerage firm. I'm sure I forgot a couple businesses between the 23-year journey, but because I've done a lot of acquisitions too. I've done a lot of roll-ups. So I bought three other spas, rolled them in. 2 other cleaning companies, rolled them in. So I love grabbing market share that way. I could just get killer deals grabbing companies that way. So tech, and then leading to the firm. And the firm, you need zero money to start. Like you just, a brokerage firm, you're just, like I did my first deal and you've got a big check. And so that one, it's been fun to start a business where you don't need capital.
Yeah, well, I do find they're really kind of 2 different situations and oftentimes 2 different entrepreneurs. I find, strappy, kind of bootstrapping entrepreneurs, they just think differently. They see different opportunities. They kind of, they find leverage in different ways versus entrepreneurs that raise a bunch of money. Certainly sometimes, if I've got a lot of money, it means I need to spend a lot of money. And that's not necessarily always the case, or there's certainly pressure there to deploy capital. So tell me a little bit about the acquisition side, because I always find that interesting. When you went in your companies, when you acquired, where you talked about market share, but was this a strategic growth strategy, versus organic growth? I mean, where did you make these decisions? How did this come up? And what did you learn being on the other side, on the acquiring side of these deals, that after being on the sell side?
I defend. So I don't do earnouts on any of my own deals, right? It's cash up front. So I defend my sellers like you wouldn't believe, as if it was my own deal, right? And because I've done it, I know I could do it for them, to the point where I'm trying to negotiate more money for them. And they're even saying, Christine, it's fine, leave it. I'm like, no, guys, I can't sleep at night if I know there's money on the table still, and same with the training. Like I said, it's very minimal training, especially if my owner is not, I could justify. And my owner is working 5 hours a week. They don't need to train you forever. And then we put in this great clause that if it's over, beyond the hours, beyond the time period, then it's $250 an hour consulting fee. So then my owner's protected and not getting harassed forever. And they still want to be a resource. They're not going to go out to the sunset. So if you need them, if it's a quick question, sure. Same thing with my businesses. That owner would call even 2 years later, and I'd always call them right back. So those are some lessons. So I'm going to defend. I don't want earnouts. They're so risky for my owner. I think I've only done it once. Seller carry, I'm okay with a personal guarantee, but I'm only okay with it up to 20% of the purchase price. Again, if they're paying full price, and my owner would have walked for less anyways, then it works. So I think those are some strategies that I'm coming up to bat for them. I'm protecting them.
And so give us the last couple of years, where have you focused? And I know that you're working with a lot of entrepreneurs now, helping them, with their businesses and exit process. What has been your focus? Where have you, what type of companies have you worked with?
Yeah, no, it's been so much fun lately because now I can jump in and do actual like consulting, exit consulting, go in there and fix. Unfortunately, some businesses are just like coming down. It's like, let's get in, let's start fixing things with AI. Let's offer AI services. Let's add it on. If you're an SEO company, there's one I'm speaking with. Can we add on AEO? Actually, a couple. Let's throw on AEO and GEO, which is what's being used right now by the LLMs. The last 5 clients we've had coming in, as far as, and these are great companies, they found me on Claude, they found me on GPT. That's literally my number one source. We put a lot of work on the back end. That's why it's working.
I'm sure.
So yeah, I think that those are some trends that I'm seeing right now. But yeah, the exit, like me helping them with their company, like I have the bandwidth right now. So that's fun to jump in to do that and really make big changes within 3 months, 6 months, like fast. Like let's fix it real quick, 3 months. Let's hustle for 3 months, but then boom, put you on market. But we got to get this trend up. Like I won't take a business a downward trend. It's just it's very, I don't want to do, I like cherry pick my listings. I only take 5 at a time. Sometimes I'm on a wait list, but usually it's mainly tech companies. Okay. So again, I'm passionate about service-based businesses, but I just rather sell tech for sure. It's much easier.
Yeah. And why? Just because of the market, the buying side is out there, there's demand and they know how to do it, or what's the?
Yes, I have a massive database waiting on profitable tech companies. Anybody listening, let me come to me because I've got 5 offers on every listing lately. So that's for people that lost out and that have money and they're waiting. The biggest thing is the buyer pool, right? So if I take a brick and mortar, which again, I've taken a couple times and regret each time. That is a San Francisco, business, brick and mortar. And that's the buyer pool's got to be near San Francisco. With a tech company, they could be international. They could be anywhere in the US. They always are. They're always like one's in one state, one's in the other.
Yeah. And what are people wanting to buy? Like, what have you noticed on the demand side in terms of what they're interested in, either types of companies, nature of companies? Like, what's the profile look like?
It was big time digital marketing agencies when I first, so I started my firm 5 years ago. So digital marketing agencies hot, like people were doing roll-ups. So we'd have an SEO company and a website development company and this, and you could just roll them up, right, if you wanted to. That is totally different now. So now those buyers are coming to me to resell the business. And I'm just like, again, SEO, great example. That's one of them. They're a website development firm and they added SEO after they bought the business, which is great. And then, a couple months ago, I should touch base because February, I'm just like, and they're doing it, which is great. I'm like, please just offer these services. Anything I could say AI. If I could say AI in the ad, because I've sold AI companies.
I know. It's a little absurd right now, but yeah.
Yeah, I've sold them a couple years ago. And the second I can put AI in the title, like this is an AI, a company offering AI or AI enabled, blah, 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 they would just sell. So it's just like, okay, guys, let's coach you through this. Let's get that done. Website development. I mean, I made a beautiful website for my AI. I've run an AI implementation club for fun. And for that club here in Austin, I made this site is insane. It was so easy with Claude Cowork. It's insane.
It is pretty absurd. What have you noticed about buyers, right? Like who's wanting to sell? Why are they selling? Like any trends or kind of themes you see here in the market?
Yeah, so it's been this way for the 5 years. Usually it is they're either starting their family. So again, a tech founder is typically in mid-30s, right? So they're starting their family or they already have little ones and they really want to be home more for the kids. That's probably the number one, believe it or not. Or they're pregnant. One we sold. She's like, is there any way you think we can close before
this done in 9 months?
Yeah, and we did. No, she was already 6 months along and she was like, we quote, and we did a month before. So I can sell them quite quickly. And again, that's because I only take 5 at a time. Yeah. So if I have 20 listings, and I have friends that have 20 and they can't sell a single one because I'm like, well, you're all over the place.
You don't have the concentration to be able to hit the demand side.
Yeah, exactly. And so another trend is obviously starting their next venture. So that's a big one. And then the other trends I'm seeing right now is, unfortunately, which even yesterday happened, so I'll talk about it, is that now they're doing their valuation. They're going to an LLM like GPT or Claude to do their val. Super smart. I would do the same. Do it, right? Go for it. But please contact us. I'm now giving a prompt. Yesterday on the team, after this happened yesterday, I'm like, can we just give a prompt or our skill on how to do their evaluation? Because now it wants to make you happy, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
It valued a business with 150K net, 6 million. And they sent me that I had a meeting, set up a Zoom, and I had to tell them in advance, like, I'm like, I don't want to say your baby's ugly, or well, first I said, do you own the real estate?
Yeah. Is that why is it like, how much is your real estate worth? Yeah.
They don't.
$5.5 million in real estate and $500,000 in company valuation.
Yeah, so they didn't, because I'm like, how much equipment, how much real estate, like where did this number come from? Like, I have to tell you, this is the multiple it's going to be, like before we get on a Zoom and I tell you to your face, like I need to tell you right now. And I did that. That was a month ago. And then they used Claude Cowork to get it. And they sent me the report. And what Claude Cowork was valuing was so I've never seen anything like it. It was valuing each team member's annual salary, and it was adding that to the value of the company. Have you ever?
No, I haven't seen that happen. That's interesting.
No. And there was other weird ways that came up with it. So we read it and they laughed. They go, we get it. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Really worth, which is like not a lot, under $1 million. And so they got it. And yesterday there was another 250 net. I want 5 million. I asked her, I thought straight up, I said, hey, did you plug this into online to AI? She said, no, I came up with the number. It's just like, if Elon could get a 90x multiple, people get a 10x. I'm like, this is service-based business. It's not software, but yeah.
What else do you notice buyers are kind of unprepared for or don't think about, when they come to you and they start talking about things that you kind of have to do a little education with them?
This is contrarian to everybody else. Again, because I move fast. I just want to get them to market and let's just fix this thing. So if their finances are a mess, it's like I see advisors, we need 1 to 2 months. We need this much money to fix your finances and this and that. Like, we're going to do it fast. Like, they definitely need fixed. I have yet to see a founder that has super clean books. Like you laugh because you know, right? And so it doesn't matter how good their CPA or the bookkeeper. And then we're going to recast with the add backs, of course. So I have no problem just immediately jumping in, fixing their finances. And they're always embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Like, no entrepreneur likes bookkeeping.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
if your books are perfect, then something else is wrong.
That's true.
It probably means you weren't focused on the right thing at some level.
Exactly. And that's me too, right? My books are behind. I have a great bookkeeper, but I was 3 months behind reviewing, my QuickBooks each month because I'm selling. Like, that's all I care about. And so that's a big trend. What else are they fixing? Face the company. That's one recently where they're all over the website. And like, the business is so wrapped around them. Sometimes I could strip. I'm like, take your face off the website. Like, let's strip you out of the business as fast as we can. So it's a big one. I think those are the two biggest that a buyer is just going to balk at, right?
Yeah. And in terms of the deals themselves, what have you noticed in terms of, particular buyer demands or seller demands that, make deals complicated or make them problematic? Like, where are the challenges in the sell process right now?
Let me see. Non-competes could be sticky. So we're actually doing them up front, which is great, right? I'm getting it in writing from the owner in advance. We're putting it in the data room. Okay, so then the buyer is super clear. Because, the Bay Area, that was a hair salon. And it was 2 days before closing. And she, obviously can't open another hair salon. Okay, that's understandable for 3 years. It can't be within this radius. Totally understandable. At the 11th hour, she said, but what if I want to work at a hair salon down the street? And I was on the buyer's side. Like, again, I'm business intermediary. I'm looking at both sides. I'm looking if I were the buyer. And I agreed with him. And it's just like, you can't, your team will move with you. Your team.
Exactly. Or your clients will just walk down the street and go to.
I know. So she walked from all that cash. It was full price, all cash. I'm like, it was overpriced. I was just like, I can't, there's no way I could get that again.
That's an interesting one. And like, in those cases, what do you chalk that up to? Because, getting full value, right, should be okay. Is this, they were still attached to the work and still attached to the clients and still attached to the team? And so, because I find that founders who haven't really done the emotional, mental work to prepare for the sale, they'll find all sorts of reasons to sabotage a deal.
I've heard that. I keep hearing that. I don't think in this case, I think she wasn't super keen on the buyer. I think if it was an incredible, perfect buyer, she would have been happy with it because that was the original plan. She's like, I'll come back and work at that salon. I'm like, wow, she'll work for the owner, right? The new owner. So that was the original plan. But then she was like, I don't know if I work for him. And he didn't have any experience in hair salon whatsoever. And he put his house on the line. He put his second mortgage. So I was just nervous for him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is not good. And that's why when it blew up, I kind of was like, maybe it was probably for the best. I don't think she was super attached. So she wanted to have another child. That's why she was doing it. But then she wasn't sure. Like she was a little bit older, so she's unsure, right? So she's like, oh, what if I don't have another child? Then I am going to want to do hair again. And like, yeah.
Yeah, I just find so much of this work, as advisors on this is not just about the business and the finances of the business, but the motivations. Like, what does the seller really want to do ultimately? And the more we can kind of figure that out and really kind of have a clear picture of post-exit life that they want, right? Like that it can drive a lot of the sale process or understand, okay, well, these are the deals we'll take and the deals we won't. And if we can figure that out early, we can avoid some of these last minute kind of, situations that can really kind of sideline deals. But
that's your work too, because we talked before, and I love that that's what you come in and do is just coach them on let's get you so excited about the next venture or the next adventure that they don't, because I haven't had a single seller sabotage, luckily. Again, that one was a unique case, but no, I haven't. They're ready like yesterday when they come to me.
Yeah, good. And your focus going forward, where do you see the market going? Anything interesting that you're working on these days? What's the future look like?
I know it's sad that every single business coming to me, I've had to say, no. Like, again, I've been a business owner for 23 years. Like I have a very blessed, easy life now, a very charmed life. I travel the world. I've lived overseas and I don't work crazy hours, right? Again, I'm available. My clients can text me any hour of any day. They know that. But I don't work like insane hours anymore. So the market is, unfortunately, it's like I'm just seeing all these decreases in tech, right? I'm seeing their industry disappear. I'm having hard conversations where it's like one person, 24 team members, creative digital agency out of New York, massive clients, 6-figure clients that are now like, they're using they're using tools like Eckfeldt and all these remote, these are big brands that are literally saying, they're kind of they're in a holding pattern. She said it would take like 3 weeks to close them. Now it could take 6 months. Like they're holding out for 6 months because they're just like, things are moving too fast. So she, 24 employees, has to let 12 of them go. She's putting it off. And I'm just like, you have to I had to let team members go last summer because of AI myself. I know it's hard. It sucks. Those are the trends right now. Otherwise, she's gonna be out. Like and a year ago, what's happening right now is all the people I talked to last year that I said, and again, I'm like, I don't want to be biased, but you got to list now. You could use any advisor you want because it sounds biased coming from me, but AI is going to take your industry over. I'm telling you. No, our clients love us. Our client. And those are the ones.
Not as much as they love AI.
And they're calling me. These same clients are calling me right now. I can't sell them.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. I really appreciate the time. If people want to find out more about you, about Magnolia, what's the best way to get that information?
I live on LinkedIn, so Christine McDannell on LinkedIn. And then otherwise, you can check out our website, themagnoliafirm.com. Happy to speak with you. Happy to coach you through, just where you're at. I love reverse engineering exits. So a lot of people do that with price of minds. Okay, let's see what we need to do now to get there. And then just the honest truth. Smart. Like, I'm not going to BS you. I'm going to tell you the bad news. It sucks, but I have to.
Yeah, reality is usually kind of the best place to operate from. So this is great. Thank you again for taking the time, Christine.
Of course, Bruce. Thanks for having me.